So as we get started with modules, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the application that we're going to be building. The application that we're going to build is a simple book list application that just lists a bunch of books that you may want to read or you have on your to-read list, and we're going to add create, delete, update, and read screens for that particular book list. So this application will be fairly simple, but it will give us all of the information we'll need as we're building modules, controllers, models, and other aspects in our Zend environment. One other thing I'd like to do is just to go over really quickly some of the layout of the folder that the project's created. We haven't covered that quite yet, and so this is as good a time as any. So the Zend skeleton application comes kind of wired up and ready to go. And the first thing that I want you guys to look at is this composer.json file right here. This file is a dependency management file that is similar to Bundler in Rails or Maven in Java, or there's a bunch of variety of tools out there for different technologies. But the composer is part of our composer.far file, and this keeps track of our dependencies. So if you're working on a Zend module that needs to have some third-party libraries or some other dependencies, this is where you would add them, and the composer will go ahead and pull those in and bundle those particular artifacts inside of your vendor directory. The vendor directory is simply all of our third-party or dependencies that's embedded for our application. And so inside of here you can actually see that we have the Zend framework. The Zend framework was loaded, and Composer actually loaded itself with some information. And we have the ZF2, which doesn't contain anything, as well as some auto load files. And as we build our module, you'll see that the auto load is how Zend loads classes and namespaces and other information into the environment so that you can determine how you want to load classes as well as when you want to load classes. The public folder is an area that contains all of your static public HTML type resources. So this is where style sheets would go. You would have images, you'd have JavaScript resources, and that kind of thing. And this first index.php page is what bootstraps and starts your application. It first requires the init autoloader and then goes ahead and bootstraps the application by calling the application config.php. We're going to get into that more in a second as we start building our modules. The config folder contains most of the information about your application globally, and here's that application config file that it's referring to in the initial index.php file. We're not going to go through all the details of this, but you can definitely look through it, and we will be modifying this as we go throughout this course. And the last area is the module area. The module area comes pre-built with the skeleton application with this application module. This application module is a global module that is used to kind of define the look and feel as well as any other global behaviors for the application. So inside of here, this is where we're going to create our custom module.